Okay, so you said you want to see more airbrushing. I've come up with a little project today. We're going to do a zombie totem pole. I'm going to do 6 of these. We'll try and fit 3 in today, hopefully. With a little bit of help from my zombie-eyed friend here, we should get through it. Basically, I'll do 3 different pictures, 3 different heads, as in a totem pole. All going to be the same size. So to do the same size, we're going to make a rough stencil, and that'll help us with the layout very quickly. So let's get into making a very quick stencil, and we'll get into it. Okay, so we needed some reasonably stiff cardboard for this, so I snuck into Tracy's office, stole one of her manila folders with a sharp knife. I've already cut myself today, sharpening a pencil. Now what we want to do is do a basic size of the face we're going to do. So every face is going to be the same size. One's going to be a princess, one's going to be a zombie, one's going to be a voodoo priest. But I want them all the same size, and I'm going to try and do it so we can stack them in different orders. So I'm going to try and do 6 in total. We'll try and do about 3 today, see how we go. So what I'll do is, I've drawn a basic shape of a face. It'll be changed a lot when I do the different ones, male and female. So we're just going to do a rough layout here for the eyes, nose, eyes. Now this is usually about 3, 1, 2, 3. Halfway down will be the mouth. This will be the eyes. Of course, everyone's faces are different, so mine is particularly well shaped and well groomed. So we've got the eyeball. We can change the eyelids and stuff like that. We're going to do the nose. Let's do a sort of a female set of lips, just the top lip I use, and maybe a high cheekbone for the female figures. So you take that. I've just roughly drawn on this side, so fold it in half. Fold it in half. Nice sharp knife. We'll just start at the nostrils, just so we know where the base of the nose is. I might give one of the zombies or skulls a lower nose, but so there we have nostrils. Let's do the top eyelid. And the pupil. Maybe an eyebrow. Then we'll come around and we'll do the whole face, down into the cheekbone, then down into the jawline, then a little bit of the neckline. Off with her head, I say. There we have a face. I'm just going to do a few more guidelines. Some of these are just basic guidelines. So there we have the face we're going to use. This will become male, female, skull, zombie. So we'll keep that. Now, I was thinking about incorporating a hand in every piece, so let's do a hand stencil now. Here we go. How's that for getting the proportions exactly right on such an elegant hand? So there we have the hand. Of course, it's wider, so we just trim a bit off the excess when we sketch it in. Down to the fingers more. If I make this a female hand, I'll make it a lot more, it's a lot slimmer. A male hand, I'll keep around this size, and a skull's hand I'll make bony. So we only need the One stencil this time. Because we're going to airbrush around the outline, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it is good to have something like this so you've got a scale to draw and you don't have to sketch it in too much beforehand. It's almost like many hands make light work. So give yourself a hand. Okay, let's start laying this out now. I think the first one we'll do a zombie queen. Let's make her... I'm thinking I'm going to keep this side of the paintings dark. So I'm going to go right in with black. And then we're going to come in with our stencil. And there we have 3 faces. I think I'll be doing one hand here. So we'll start this first one off. And we'll work down them as we go. So this one is going to be a female. So I'll move this down to a workable height and we'll sketch it in some grey. Poor old easel's done a lot of work over the years. I couldn't count the amount of paintings I've done on this. Okay, let's start with the zombie princess. So I'm going to give her some sort of hat. I think we'll give her a top hat. Had a great grey top hat I bought in the early 80s at Disneyland from a Mad Hatter's hat shop. Still got it today. Alex bums it off me sometimes. Wear on stage prop. Oh, give you some hair. Give it some earrings, some jewellery, or give her a Indian style neck choker. Make her fingers a lot narrower than the stencil. want to give her like we'll do an eagle skull on her, the center of her hat. Maybe give her a little bit, make her a little bit more angry. I think we'll put a little skull on her. The feathers on her hat, and then some bones. I think they used to throw the bones to predict your future. Now I throw the bones after I've finished eating the chicken. Eagle skulls and bones. We'll drop some shadowing down from the hat over her face. I want to give a really dark eye makeup, so I think I'm going to go with a slight curve over her cheek and then over the bridge of her nose with some and then maybe a bit of face painting. Like the idea of this line here running over the nose to give the shape of the nose. I think we'll do a full moon with the clouds drifting across some zombie land. Maybe a spooky old tree breaking the line of the moon. Okay, now we're going to come in with a bit of white and do some more sketching, but in the same time lighten the areas we want light, and I'll just lose the lines across the hand. Okay, we're just going to lighten this up a little. The beak of the skull of the bird. And feather. Eyelids, the beads. I think I'll give her dark hair but put some white streaks in her hair. We'll do a little skull earring here. We'll give some white streaks in her hair there, and then down behind the hand. Okay, now we'll go into the black and we'll start doing some outlining and get some detail happening. I'm actually going to time myself on this and just, I'll go through it reasonably fast, and then as usual I always come back and tighten a few things up. I enjoy doing it this way. It's sort of, it's like you're airbrushing under pressure, and I actually like working under pressure sometimes. So just have reasonable detail, and then I'll come back again and run the detail again, because a lot of this stuff I'm doing will be shaded over, so I don't really put that much detail, high detail into it in the first instance like this. Give her a bit of the skull earring here. This is reasonably fine now, so I've got the airbrush about 10 to 15 millimeters away from the canvas. I'm just pulling back very lightly just to get enough paint. I've got the paint reasonably thin too, so that helps getting the finer detail. Doesn't clog the airbrush. Some airbrush paints you have a problem called tip drying, so when you're doing fine work you get a build up of paint on the tip, but I find using the automotive paints I don't have that problem as much. I still have it a bit, but not as much as some of the water based and airbrush paints they make. I think we'll do the top hat a little beat up. Not as beat up as mine, but a little beat up. I'm blowing down onto the set bottom canvas, so hopefully some of these lines I can link up to the next piece of artwork and they'll all tie in together. I think it'd be nice going from a thing of beauty to not a thing of ugliness, but maybe a thing of evil. The inspiration behind this is, besides loving the theory of zombies and the history behind zombies, they're fun to paint because there's a lot of ideas behind them, you know, like it's really based a lot of the stories are based in Louisiana, New Orleans. So you've got crocodiles, you've got the moon shining, you've got the music, you've got the language, which is a cross between French and English, and it's a pretty cool accent they've got down that part of America. I don't think it's just New Orleans or Louisiana where the zombie thing happens. I think the zombies can happen anywhere in the world. I think even the Mad Max films, I think the bad guys in that are basically zombies, aren't they? So we can incorporate a lot of stuff in these paintings, everything from crocodiles, rattlesnakes, black magic. Maybe we need a bit of the old Robert Johnson blues playing in the background around the swamp. So I'm going to darken this side of the face up a little. When I'm airbrushing hands, I simply look at mine, and if you want a set of beat up hands, you can't get much worse than mine, but I think it's harder doing girls' hands because they're so delicate. So I try my best. So I usually give them fingernails, longer fingernails. Probably less wrinkles, less folds in the skin. I think I'm going to do some beads wrapped around a hand, so we'll have them coming out of that hand, down to this hand, maybe down there. So these will be just black beads. And I think in Mardi Gras, if you throw beads, the girls throw their tops off, or something like that. It's one of the few places in America I haven't been to Mardi Gras. It didn't work out so well for Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper going to Mardi Gras, but Just softening out the face a little, giving it a bit more depth. Why don't we do a rattlesnake hat band? That's what we'll do. So we'll get these bones done and then I'll come in with some rattlesnake background. So we'll go a diamond, a diamond. Ronnie Van Zant from Leonard Skinner would love this hat. There's a story, some dude was backstage with Leonard Skinner and Ronnie handed him the hat as a gift. A guy showed up on an episode of Pawn Stars explaining that he was backstage with Leonard Skinner, and Ronnie Van Zant, R.I.P., handed him his hat and said it looked better on him. But of course he took it into pawn it. I don't know actually how much he got for it or even if he did it, but it's sort of something I would have liked to have hung on to. I've just moved it down a bit, just make it easier to get to everything. We'll start doing some feather work on the hat. Darken up one side of the top hat. Let's do a bit of damage. Let's do a spooky old tree. Okay, now we're going to come in with a bit of white and put some highlights in. It's always a fun bit to do. So we'll do the some white highlights, and then I will put it to one side. Work on the next one, and I think I will come back and put a bit more detail before we do the finishing touches. Top, do some. Let's do some bit of cloud or mist. Few highlights. Bring the moonlight shining on the feather. White really makes it pop and almost doubles the amount of detail, because you've already done the outline and then you come back in and give it a lot more depth with the white. I don't want to do much more than that, so we'll move it down and I'll do the bottom half, and then we're going to start on the second face. Okay, let's move down to here now. We'll start over this side. Believe it or not, this is the first time I've done something like this with the stacked faces, but I'm confident it's going to look pretty cool once we're finished. Yeah, so this will be an interesting little project when it's finished. Actually, all the paintings I'm doing on this series are going to be for sale. I'm just in the process of getting a new website. I haven't had a website for a few years now, but I thought it might be a great idea to share some of the artwork around. I'll have, I'm thinking about having a section on it called the junkyard, where I'm going to have a lot of car and motorcycle parts for sale. I've got a lot of stuff laying around this shed, and it's either stuff I've pulled off cars, or stuff on cars and bikes, or stuff I'm never going to use. So instead of me hoarding it, I'll put it out there for anyone who's interested to. Yep, I have got a lot of different things, so that's why I'm going to call it the junkyard. But there will also be a section on there called artwork, where all this stuff will be for sale. So I'm going to do the hand a little lighter now and make it come out, and then I'm going to just do a little bit of magic or smoke off her fingertips, like she's conjuring up a bit of zombie magic. Pretty dangerous. So we'll just do a little bit of smoke, almost like lightning, I suppose. So I think with that, we'll call this one not done, but done enough where we can start our next bit of the project.